Hello, hello. Hey, Sinestella. Happy Tuesday. All right, what are we doing today? What is my stream title again? Some like wacky thing. Oh yeah, Saki's losing his mind. Okay, so let's write this down. Adam is making a new sub game for SIABT. In it, you first play as Sidekick, and he's losing his agency. Adam wants to develop these in-game scenes to show that he's losing control. Well, Sidekick is losing control. Hey, Joss. Hey, David. Hello, hello. Okay, we did not fill out the journal yesterday. I want to go do that. I just forgot. And hey, Snydro. Hello, hello, everybody. Okay, copy this over, change the date to this, and the time to, I don't know, 3, I guess 15, whatever. Does that work? Yeah, that works. All right, what did we do yesterday? Started working on the Metroidvania game. Mostly just laid foundation and thought about game design some more. Cool, cool, cool. Hair's back. Hair's back to normal. Yeah, I showered this morning. That's how I normally would do it. And actually, even when I shower in the evening, usually I would just like shower again in the morning, or at least like fix my hair. I did not that one day. And David, happy 7 streams. Okay, so this is done. This I've thought about. I think we're just gonna move forward with, what is this? What happened here? Oh, I changed the collision shapes. Okay, move trigger points in backtracking rooms. No, it's fine. I have no problem with that. Okay, motion blur. So let's go take a look at what we've got. Because yeah, I'm not super happy with this. I was thinking about this again yesterday. I don't think we need to communicate that a bunch of time has passed. I think it'd probably be difficult to do. Doesn't really matter. So here's what we have so far. You're able to double jump. I guess you don't need to. Yeah. Yeah, so this first thing would happen. I think this is good. Do we have a player spawn point in these rooms? No. Okay, let's make a few changes here. Oh, let's first start by downloading this, I guess. So I want to change where the spawn point can be. So we'll add more of this room. All right, so allow for a customizable spawn point in the backtracking rooms by adding a marker 2D. Actually, really, they should all inherit from the same node. They don't. These rooms should all inherit from the same base scene. That way, the base scene can have this node. Script can also follow this inheritance if needed. Let's just do that. Yeah. Okay, so allow for customizing the spawn point in a room. And then afterward, I want to elongate the second room and place you in the middle of it. This means that players may go to the left, which we need to handle. Maybe you can't. Maybe they just can't go to the left because there's a wall there. Now, eventually, too, I guess I don't want to spend too long on these rooms. Eventually, they'll be more vertical than they are right now. Right now, they're pretty horizontal. And then, yeah, the motion blur, let's do that. I want to change the motion blur in the backtracking platformer. I'm not totally sure exactly how I want to do this yet, but I think I want to just reset the camera immediately. So it just appears like you're in a new spot and it motion blurs your way over to there. Okay, now we go watch the VOD. It's already muted. Okay, what? No, 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 no. Stop. Go back. What is going on? All right. Now we just rewind a little bit. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, so here's what this looks like frame by frame. You jump, you hit this trigger point, and then it blurs and then moves the camera. I think it's the moving the camera part that I don't want to have happen. Hey, Pickle. And I already wrote some code for this, so we should be able to change this pretty easily. In fact, I think it's in camera 2D extensions. Position camera without smoothing. Yeah, I think we have smoothing enabled. Backtracking, platformer, camera, smooth, no. Oh no, position smoothing is on, yeah. The limit is also on, which is kind of funny. I guess we need to make sure that the limits are set correctly. Do we call set all limits from the backtracking platformer? Nope. No, we do not. Maybe all the rooms are the same size. I need to write this down. Where's the polish section? I don't know where I wrote that. Should be here somewhere. Here it is. Make sure camera limits are set correctly. I think we currently expect all of the rooms to be the same size. Maybe I'll just do this now. I'll bump this to the top of the list. Okay, so position camera without smoothing. I want to try that. And it's going to be inside the... Let's go find the motion blur shader. Here it is, motion blur. It takes in a screen texture. We just search for screen texture. Should be quotation marks around it somewhere. Or else how else is it working? It's a uniform. What? Nothing's setting it? Is this some like Godot built in? Godot screen texture? Hey, Pedrick. No, I'm pretty much on time. Hint screen texture. Special texture to access the already rendered contents of the screen. I see. Okay, so we do not explicitly set this. But we probably do set motion blur strength. Yeah, we do. All right, here it is. Play motion blur. Perfect timing indeed. And then we move the camera somewhere. Oh, we don't actually move the camera here. But we need to move the camera once we're in the new room. Hey, Hyper. Sidekick. It'd be a very different game. Although there are games like that. There's date everything now, right? I want to change the motion blur. So right now, the camera moves without this. Presumably because it's happening from a physics process function and not from transition a room. I want to use this so that the motion blur is between means the camera position needs to be set after transitioning rooms. I wrote this kind of stupidly, so if this doesn't work, I don't blame AI for this. Okay. So this is done, and then we need to do this one. Wait, no, other way around. That. Okay, elongate the second room and place you in the middle of it. Yeah, this is where we get to customize the spawn point of a room. All right, so this whole, we need to communicate that all this is happening over days. I think we're just going to delete this. Yeah. Let me write this down in our game design note over in the scratch section. Backtracking, platformer, passage of time. Okay, so TLDR of what's below. Original notes. I originally wanted to communicate that Sidekick is going crazy or is losing their mind over time, over many days / weeks. However, I don't think it's super easy to communicate for two main reasons. One, anything we try to show here may be construed or like misconstrued, I guess, as a glitch. If we showed a death count rising by more than one each time. And two is that we don't have a ton of artwork for this. A decent idea would have been to change the seasons, which even then may have been confusing. Given how the entire game is set up. Yeah, but we don't have that art. So I'm going to drop this, but we'll see from playtests whether this is confusing and what we can do about it. Always the sidekick, never the main kick. Thoughts on Anthropic watermarking with basically AI did this in the coding world? This is bad? No. I don't know much about it. I only heard that it's happening. My sort of gut thoughts, without really having thought about it too much, is that I already think AI code is not supposed to be copyrightable. So, I mean, I guess this makes it clearer that it's AI code. So, beyond copyright, is there any other concern about this? Like, you don't have ownership over the code, or that someone else might be able to point to, like, you didn't do this. And I can't think of something off the top of my head, quickly at least. So then I guess the other question is this done knowingly? Like, are users of Claude, do they know that there's a watermark on it? So for example, if I go to some, like, I don't know, meme generator, and there's a watermark thing that you can have be set here, and it's like, it's very obvious. And then of course it's an image, so you can just see it at the end. That's the whole point of a watermark. But suppose it was like a steganographic watermark. Are you told about it? What is the purpose? So yeah, I don't see any like immediate bad from it, but like I said, I'm not knowledgeable about what the arguments are either way. I mean, you ask a very leading question, so saying this is bad no means that you think it's bad, and I'd love to hear why, because yeah, I have not thought about this a whole lot. Hey Magnus, can you have an animation of the calendar or clock skipping through time? I think that'd communicate it well. Yeah, I could, and I just don't really think it's worth it. But even if you saw that, remember that this will be like game number 7, let's say. So game number 1, you fall through the world. Game number 2, like, everything is broken, the farming game, and etc., so on and so on. And then finally you get to game number 7, and you're like, oh, the time is skipping forward. You'd be like, oh, this is another glitch. Like, this isn't really that time is skipping forward. That's kind of my concern, is that no matter what we do, someone's going to just perceive it as like, oh yeah, this is just some wackiness of the game. Yeah, I'm not totally sure. Morning, Goose. People use AI, but now they're afraid it'll be known they use AI. Yeah, so there must be some reason if there's pushback for this. And I don't know what that reason is, and I don't want to put words in people's mouths. So yeah, maybe there's a valid pushback for that. All right, added this after room transition completes. Remove direct camera positioning from activate room. Wait a second. I mean, I should go take a look at that. Also, what is this? Oh, UID's changed. Sometimes I wish this just never happened. Or that, I don't know, it happened differently. Something like that. All right, let's go commit this. I'm just going to write A in here. We're not going to keep this. Why is this not switching? There we go. BT, get cherry pick. All right. Hey, Ozzy. What keyboard do you use? This is a Corn keyboard with a Colmac layout. Yeah, and hey. Ollie and Ozzy. Also, when there's no choice, code has strict symbols. There's less to watermark. Watermarking prose is simple because there's choice the LLMs can make. Code less so. Yeah, like I said, I just want to hear from Hyper, like, what is the pushback, I guess. I'm not sure how that even works. Makes more sense for pros. Well, I guess the other thing too is whatever code you're writing is rarely what the customer will see on their machine, because usually there's some compilation step that happens, and you could probably still maybe figure out from that it was made by AI. But it's not like if you ship JavaScript unminified, unobfuscated, then yeah, it's like you're seeing the direct JavaScript on your machine. But even then, it's typically not what happens. Oh, hey, Anahadi, and hey, Prophet. Prophet is strong. Yeah, welcome in. For those who are ever like, who am I responding to? On YouTube, there are some comments every once in a while. Okay, so we have this. I wanted to take a look at what did this used to do. It used to be an activate room that we called this. No, we didn't do anything. Hold on, I'm confused at the wording here. Remove direct camera positioning from activate room. I don't see that. Oh, here. Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Okay, let's try it out. Now, this is me trying to think ahead to, would this effect look good? I don't know if it will. The only way to see is to actually go try the effect. So maybe this looks really stupid or terrible, and we're going to find out together. So I'm going to move here, and we're just going to all of a sudden be in a new place, and hopefully there's some motion blur. No, it's still like, looks like it shifted the camera. I think it did. Let's try the other one here. Let's just look at the VOD again. Oh, I see. BNC died. Okay, so what is happening here? We're gonna pause here. Why is pausing not working? What is going on? Now I gotta rewind again. I mean, it's not that hard to do. It's just a little bit laggy. Okay, so here's what happens. We hit the trigger point right now. No, it's definitely moving the camera. You can see it moving like 6 frames. Yeah. Why is that happening? The whole point of this is that shouldn't be happening. It's because play motion blur has a tween, and it's not until the tween is finished that we actually call position without smoothing. Because activate room doesn't set the camera anymore, but it does set the character position. So I think we need to reset this there too. Let's just put that there and see what happens. Oh, hey, other prophet. Yeah, I'm glad I showed YouTube chat then. Otherwise, you would have been like, wow, I'm getting called out over here. Got offered a new internship for the fall semester. We have an elective internship for credit. Is it the same place? Because like I said, it sounds like the place you were working at now is fantastic. Okay, that's what I wanted to have happen here. Now the question is it a good effect? And yeah, I don't have the answer for that. What if we made it blurrier? I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking for here. Yeah. I want to put this into a video editor and try in the video editor, but even then it wouldn't feel the same because you wouldn't have input there. I feel like there's a little bit of lag. Like I want to move the character immediately. Oh man. Hey, weird dudes, having a good experience with it? Yeah. Yeah, I've only been doing some pretty basic stuff with shaders so far. Like there's some games that have, 1,000 shaders and they're very complex and they stack in interesting ways and like the engine supports stacking them. Godot doesn't have a lot of that depth, I think. Like each canvas item can have one shader. So you need to start doing some tricky things if you want like a shader pipeline. Same place. Okay, yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, awesome. Congrats. I think it's really good. It's like I said, it seemed like a really good place for you to work. Yeah, I'm torn on this. Play motion blur. So how does this work exactly? Motion blur in seconds. What if we set this to, let's set it to something absurd. Let's set it to 5 seconds and just see. Oh, wait. Oh, that's in seconds. And there's out seconds. Yeah, so let's set it to, I don't know, 2 and 2. Yeah. So it'll take 4 total seconds. And I'm trying to communicate here that, like, you're in a different place and you didn't expect to be there. And it's not like a normal transition, but it's not just a straight up teleport. I should really move where this region is or make my character move faster so I don't keep doing this. Okay, you know what would sell this more? Is if the camera was centered on the player still. So you're just in a different location all of a sudden. Because right now the camera moves. Yeah, I think we need to remove the camera limits during this time. That's awesome, Magnus. Yeah. Hey, Jesta. If this is effect keeping you suspended in midair, yeah. Why does it not move smoothly? I don't want it to move smoothly. So like that's what I was explicitly stopping from happening here. So we have position without smoothing. Like I'm explicitly calling this. And again, this is me just trying to achieve a visual effect that I have not been able to visualize in my mind. So it'd be like if you were trying to make, in Breaking Bad, you're trying to indicate that you're in a different country. Like how Breaking Bad did it was a tinted brown, right? But it's like all I know in my head is I want it to look like we're in a different country, but I don't know what you do to achieve that. So this is not a coding problem. This is just a like, how do we figure out that you need a brown filter in Breaking Bad? Like what will convince a player that this isn't just some like random glitch? But yeah, I think deleting the camera limits is probably a good start. So let's just turn them off and see what happens. Yeah, just turn off the limits. Yeah, something like that, Hyper. Also, Hyper, I don't know if you heard me asking you earlier, but what was your pushback for AI watermarking? Because it sounded like you had an opinion, and I want to know what that opinion was. Okay, so now we don't have camera limits, so you can see that we are seeing a lot of gray space on the screen. And that way, when we do this transition, it should still be centered, I believe. Okay, it is, but it looks like we're in a different world. So now we gotta shorten the amount of time that you're there for. Back to 0. I don't think this is gonna... I don't think it's gonna be compelling. It's not bad. It is weird that there's a little bit of delay. I still want the character to be sort of tangible during that time. Yeah, it's not bad. Hmm. Hmm. You need to think about this. Character is doing something as they come out of the trance. I think what might help is if your character is just... I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do here. What if we overlaid two scenes on top of each other? So like you're controlling Sidekick in two scenes whose opacities are like 50%, and one fades in over the other. Okay, this might be interesting. Yeah. God, I don't know if I even said this in a way that anyone else can picture what I'm picturing. But just imagine you've got like Mario Bros. 1 and Mario Bros. 3 laid on top of each other. And one is fading in and the other is fading out. So you're literally controlling two games at once for that time. Yeah. I think that would be interesting. What if there's a portal that appears and sucks them in? So to be clear, what we're trying to communicate here is you are losing control of your character, not that you're warping to another place. So like a portal would be a very obvious you're warping to another place. But this is like, imagine your memory is failing. That's what we're trying to communicate to the player here. Okay, I like this idea. I want to try this out. Just I can save that video for later. I have so much to do this afternoon. All right, and then do we use a motion blur effect between the two games? Or do we just fade one in over the other? I don't know how we want to do that. But yeah, the camera smoothing, I don't think we need to do exactly. So I think we just ditch this. Yeah, I think we just ditch this. All right, let's revert it all. And then what is the remaining thing here? Get status is just get add dot and then it goes away. Yeah. Okay, so let's go have this try something else. And maybe for this one, I'll set it to soul. Okay, so right now in the backtracking platformer, we have Sidekick in only a single room, or we have Sidekick in a single room at a time and render with one camera. I want to give off an effect of Sidekick losing their mind / memory. So I want to have two copies of the game world running at once as the player goes through. Hey, Zika. We could do this in a couple different ways. We could have like game 1, game 2. We could have this is time and this is the opacity, and time and opacity. I probably should have just drawn this in two different. Yeah. Anyway, we could do like a linear thing like this. Game 1 and game 2 could be like so. So one of these, this is game 1, let's say, and this is game 2. All right, well, anyway, drawing with colors is really annoying on this. So yeah, imagine something like this. Game 1, game 2, you've got one of them goes up, one of them goes down. But you could also do it in a step function and have something like this and base it on particular points. So these steps could happen like when you hit the first jump, let's say. And then this second thing can happen when you, I don't know, fall on the ground or something. This could be the second step that we have here. This would look very glitchy to the player. And I don't think it would communicate that you're losing control. I think it would just communicate that something's going wrong. I'm not sure. Would people devalue the code if completed by AI rather than professionals? Linux, GitHub stopped Vibe coders from contributing due to them not knowing how their code really works. I think what people don't value is what you exactly said here. When people don't know how the code works, so then whose responsibility is it when something goes wrong? Is something going to go wrong? Have they thought through this? Will they test it? And I think that AI is just a symptom of that. But I'm sure in any big open source project for pretty much all of time, people have had bad contributors at some point. And now the volume has probably increased drastically as the barrier for entry has decreased. So if I'm reading between the lines correctly, is your pushback that if AI watermarks codes and a professional makes good code and has properly tested it, that something like an open source project would then start rejecting what is otherwise professional good code? Because while I can see that happening, it's also up to the project maintainers. I don't think it's some like widespread issue necessarily. Yeah, I think this might be a problem that we're talking about here, which is I think that showing two games at once doesn't necessarily communicate that you're losing control. My intention is to show that your memories are blurring. Like you remember being in this game for a long time. Maybe you even have multiple copies of it. But then the part about you literally losing control happens in the third instance of this. Oh man, this is one of the most challenging things I've done. Okay, what if you started without being able to always control your character? So like you can move and jump, but occasionally it takes over for you and moves and jumps. And at first it's in like 0.5 second bursts, but toward the end it's in 3 to 5 second bursts, and then at the end it's permanent. So this probably sells the idea the best. I think the visual effects are not important. I think the only thing that was important is that it's the part about communicating this is happening over time. Yeah. Have you played or seen Lisa the Painful? No, I have not. Game has some cool memory distortion effect that they use for storytelling. No, I haven't seen that. Crack in the screen and you get sucked into it would seem like a different dimension to me. So I don't know if you heard when I was talking to Bedhead Kitten about this, but the goal is not to get them to a different place. The goal is to communicate that you're losing control and communicate that this is happening over time. So the losing control can be literal. It could be that you are not controlling the character. And I mean, that's that, right? Like that's the literal loss of control. And we could just make this more and more pronounced as you're going through this game. But then it might seem like, well, that happened all at once. Like it took like a minute and my character just like, I lost agency. So the way this works right now, if I just speed this up here. Oh, right, I got to jump up there. I got to jump over here. Okay, so as soon as I go into this little trigger point here, I can drop the controller or just not press anything. And like it's running and jumping for me. So I can try to override this. It doesn't do anything. The character's just moving on their own. So as a player, you'd be like, what's going on? Like now the screen's getting blurrier. Like, and it'll still be a little bit confusing to you, but we'll eventually clarify what happened there. ABC. All right. I kind of like this idea. And then should we go with this and try this out? Like you're controlling two at once. I don't think it communicates the right thing. Kind of the sprites in background fade to each other, except Sidekick. Trick would be to fade the first set of sprites to a dark color and blur, then fade the second set of sprites from the dark color to full opacity. Fade to dark makes a blend between the sets of sprites less jarring. Kind of like jumping between present and memory. Yeah, that could potentially work, right? We keep Sidekick in the same spot, the camera in the same spot. We blur out the level behind them. I do think it would seem like you're warping between them still, but that might work. The dream sequence when switching. Squiggly lines, like you're seeing a past event, or this is time travel into the future. Yeah, I think I want to try the blurred tile sets thing. Maybe we blur the tile sets around the player, or the world around the player. It would have different collision. So I guess you'd be in both worlds at once, and then all of a sudden at one point we'd sort of like take the old world away from you. I think music would be tough to do here, just to design it correctly. Different collision though. We keep the camera on the player. So this idea, I think, is really important. I think we got to do this. Let me write that down. I want you to lose control of your character in bursts. Like, first room is 0.5 seconds every... maybe it's like 20% of the time. So every 2.5 seconds. Second room would be a little bit more. Maybe 1 second every 2.5 seconds. And third room is no control whatsoever. So we go from 20% to 40% to 100% of loss of control. Or rather 80%, 60%, 0% in terms of control. And then the world and blurring. Maybe I should just mock this up using a couple of rooms here. Like we go and they're already all here, right? Yeah, they are already all here. Why can you see through this? It doesn't really matter. All right, so let's just change the modulate on one of these. So let's say this particular room, this is the... yeah, I want to change the modulate on this. What is going on? Yeah, what is going on here? Is it the other way around? That's how I would expect it to be, but I don't understand where... No, it's not. What is going on here? Oh, there's a player room here too. Oh, whoops, whoops, whoops. Okay, there we go. Yeah, now this is what I expect. So if we change the modulate on this, we can see the world change here. This is kind of what I was thinking of from Jesta's message. That it could be that you're just kind of going through and then all of a sudden you're like, you're just in this new terrain and you're falling through the old one. Word true to right word true? Huh. I've lost my thought for some reason. Hey, Xyletics, thanks for the resub. Espanso right word. Where's the documentation on this? Ah, here it is. Ensure a match will only occur at the beginning or end of words respectively, not in the middle. I might already use this. I don't actually recall. GitHub.com/AdamLearns/AdamsApple. I don't remember what I call this or where it is. Apple. Oh, it's in my other GitHub. Can I even change accounts or is this going to be annoying? All right, give me a sec. Where's my phone? Well, that's weird. It usually pops up a thing on my... Hang on a second. type this in. All right, here we go. All right, so somewhere here I have an Espanto config. Do I already use right word? No, I don't. Yeah. So how does that help me? Match occurs at the beginning or end of word and not in the middle. So I want to change all of these to right word, essentially. But I don't remember what exactly your problem was. Yeah, Adam's apple is one of my better names that I've come up with. Often doesn't do autocomplete. I have to repeat it 2 to 3 times. Have you run into that issue? All right, well, maybe I should give this a shot. I'll write that down too. There's just too much on my list at this point. See if right word instead of word for everything is better. Give me 1 sec. I just got an email from Valve. Your store page has failed review because the AI-generated content disclosure section contains links to external sites. You can add reviews from the description tab. What? Add reviews to the description tab. Yeah, I'm aware of that, Prophet. And I thought about that and just decided against it. Ah, man. It says you can add reviews from the description tab. I don't, it's not a review. And I don't know where else to put this. I guess let's go take a look and see. Maybe it's clearer over there. Recommended I do left keyboard. Okay, interesting. I don't know for sure that I want this everywhere, but this may break things like this in the middle of don't, but it's still worth a shot for other shortcuts. Hey, Campbell Soup. All right, so yeah, let's go take a look at this. So they said in the descriptions, in the reviews, you can add this here. So edit store page, description, include text and links for reviews. It's not a review though. I can't tell. I'm so confused. So I can't tell if this is like AI generated or like a script or something. And they're just telling me how I might do this, or if they're actually saying put your AI disclosure inside of a reviews tab. Your store page has failed because the AI generated disclosure contains links to external sites. You can add reviews from the description tab in the app's store page admin under reviews. I don't, these two things seem unrelated. Like I don't have a review in my description already, do I? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they want you to do this here. Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. Probably it says that you added a docs link. Yeah, I did. I'm aware of that. I just don't understand what's the why do they say this here then? Like, what does that have to do with the AI thing? Hmm. Probably thinks it's a review link. That could be true. Also, hey, default TA. Yeah, but like a human would have just looked at the document, right? All right, well, this is interesting because I actually then violated this for Skeleseller as well, and people in the reviews got mad at me for not having this on the store page, and I'm not actually sure what to do at this point. Can't make everyone happy, I guess. So where do we have the AI thing here? Maybe I should just put it on the website? I don't know. Where's the AI thing? Health warning URL. Maybe it's in description. I don't know where this is. AI content survey. Content survey. How do you get to this? I don't remember where this is. Yeah. Ah, content survey. There it is. All right, this has the thing about AI in it somewhere. Yeah, this is why I couldn't find this. Okay, so then we should just copy the text of this over to here. Oh, this isn't even the right game. It's not even the right... Oh, God, maybe that's why. I think I copied the wrong link. Oh, no, that's a giant mistake. Okay, hold on a second. Let me go find the correct one. Maybe that's why they were confused by this. Like, I shouldn't have an external link anyway, but I used the wrong document. Okay. So we're going to write it like this. I don't know if this is going to... Like, maybe we can use formatting here. We should probably test this. Be testeroni. All right, let's save that. And then we'll go look at this page. And I probably need to put the AI disclosure in the right spot. AI disclosure for stuck in a broken tutorial is here. Maybe they're not allowed to follow links. Could be, yeah. That's so odd. Only half reading. It could be. They probably have a lot of games submitted for review. All right, so now we got to go look at the beta store page. Where is that? Here. And now we can go find the AI disclosure and see if that formatted it. This is not... What happened? Did it not save this? Oh, publish. All right, now we refresh this. Okay, so formatting does work, but so does just listing out bullet points like that. But I should probably have it be a proper list. So let's just go change it. Yeah. All right, they use a pretty annoying syntax for this. So it's list star. And we do it like this. And then we save and publish again and go back to the page. Okay. Yeah, do I have anything else listed here? Okay, that's it. So I think we're good. I think we just clear that out. We probably should make the same change for Skeleseller. Does a doc have a review inside of it? I don't think so. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. I shouldn't include the link. I didn't realize there was a problem. Okay, let's submit this for review again. And before I do, let me just double check this. We do not have any external links here. Yep. Okay, so Mark is ready for review. I removed the external link and put the contents of that document directly onto the Stuck and Broken tutorial store page. Thank you for the review. Okay. Cool. So now this should get marked. Yeah, nice. All right. Well, it's a little bit of a shame because I was kind of hoping to have the Steam page online, but I've mentioned this a couple times in the past. It's not time critical. It's not like we're trying to launch the game in a week or a month even. It's probably still going to take another like year and a half. So that's okay. All right. So we were talking about this and blurring the world and keeping the camera, and I was messing around with this effect. So imagine you're jumping here and you go to make another jump and this other world just starts like shifting into view. You'd probably think that's the gimmick for this game, not that time is passing. And even if we blur things a little bit, like maybe the way Jessa was saying it, like we blur it enough where you can't even tell that that the background has changed. But we somehow don't blur. No, I think even blurring Sidekick would be fine. Okay. Have it spin to show the time passes. I think if we had it spinning and also had the game being played in like fast forward, like double the speed maybe, but then the game would have to be playing itself because you wouldn't be reacting in double the speed. I'm not sure. I kind of want to just try this and see what happens. But yeah, I don't know. All right, we have a single room at a time, render with one camera. I want to give off an effect of them losing their mind or memory. So I want to have two rooms present at any time with the camera following Sidekick in each one. Whoops. The limits will need to change. Let me revert this for now. We can eventually make the rooms such that we don't have limit problems. Okay, I want to have two rooms present anytime. When Sidekick enters the, what is it? It's like the exit region or something. Yeah. When they touch exit area, it should fade out the, or it should blur out the current, just blur the whole screen. Blur the whole screen over maybe like 1 second, then transition, then fade out the first room while fading in the second room, then unblur the screen. At some point in this transition, the collision of the first room should stop functioning and the collision of the second room should be enabled. This should happen such that there's always a ground enabled so that Sidekick doesn't fall through the world. Did you hook up Godot MCP? No, I didn't really see a need. I have two rooms present at any time with the camera following Sidekick in each one. When Sidekick touches exit area, it should blur the whole screen over 1 second, then fade out the first room while fading in the second room. then unblur the screen. At some point in this transition, the collision of the first room should stop functioning. Yeah, so this is fine. Why is this still happening? Is this UID changes? Yeah, it is. All right, let's just close that scene. Let's close everything. All right, I'm going to kick that off. I'm also going to write down what our usage is at now. Still 63%, but this one's using Soul. At least I think it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And then the other idea that I had was that you should lose control for longer. Here it was. So this I'm just going to have to imagine, I suppose. Also, you losing control of your character could be timed with you hitting this trigger region. So we got to make sure that you're aware that you are losing control. Also, your character probably needs to try moving left at some point and not just right. Maybe change the loss of control so that they occasionally move left instead of right. I don't want them hitting the trigger point for you unless you're already aware that you don't have full control. Is this, I mean, this has been this has been all I've been working on for the last, I don't know how many hours of this stream. I know I've only been streaming for 1 hour today, but yesterday as well, I was trying to figure this out. I feel like I've already spent 2 or 3 hours on this stuff. But once we're done with this, I think this is the most difficult part maybe. And then everything else should be straightforward. Losing control in a game without flying is flying. I'm not sure I understand you, Hyper. All right, then what is this? Implement a customizable backtracking room spawn points. Probably should have merged this in. So let's just mark this as unread. Actually, now there wouldn't be a concept of spawn points, right? Yeah, there wouldn't be the concept. We would just get rid of that. This may not be needed if we show multiple rooms at the same time. Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to take a quick break because it's going to start in 5 minutes anyway, so I might as well just do it now. Is it jump time? It's jump time. right, hello again. Close the game. Did you fix your VPN, Strong? Or your VPC? Wow, this is still going. I wonder what it's costing me. Not too much yet. Yeah. When I think about like where is it worth spending the most time on things, I think probably ratcheting up fun is the most important, and reducing confusion might be the next most important one. Like people are willing to do a lot if they're finding that that a game is fun. And then once they find that a game is fun, I think it's like, all right, well, what are the next big things? And you might argue like, oh, balance or something, but it's like if you already found the game fun, then the balance must be decent enough. So yeah, then it's about increasing, I don't know, polish or accessibility, and confusion can reduce accessibility. Oh, switch to personal PC. Gotcha. No, yeah, it doesn't work on YouTube. Yeah. I wonder if I should do that if I make another stream game. In fact, I wonder if we just make like a... I wonder if Twitch chat should still be the interface. Probably. Yeah, probably. That you can see what everyone else is typing. Although maybe we make it work over YouTube. I'd have to read all the chat messages though. I think responding to those in near real time would be too difficult. Oh, Marco, thank you for the sub. And 3 months of it too. It's very generous of you. Yeah, welcome in. Nice, nice, nice. Very nice of you. It'd be impossible. Yeah. I mean, I could lower, there are latency controls on YouTube, and I think I have it set to something that's like low, but not like real time or something. I think there's a real time thing. But yeah, I don't think I want to encourage too much chat over on YouTube anyway. Anyway, I was talking about this whole like, where would you spend more time? And yeah, fun, I think, and then reducing confusion. So this is where I feel like we're working on for right now, is this whole thing with Sidekick losing control. I think it'd be confusing right now, and I'm not sure that what I'm doing is going to make it better. And I don't think we should probably try for longer than like today. You hear that, YouTube plebs? Yeah, I think whatever we get done with by the end of today is probably good enough. Probably not spend longer than today working on the Sidekick stuff. Or at least the loss of control bits for Sidekick. We can still flesh out the world. But yeah, this may take longer. All right. I think that looks pretty messed up. And I think you should still be able to control the character while that's happening. But I'd like to try it for myself. Yeah. Also, I think it transitioned to yet another room at the end. I gotta probably put some limit on that. Yeah. All right. Well, what are the other things we want to do after this? Losing control of your character in bursts. So we have that automated character controller. Backtracking character is autonomous. Yeah, it's all of this stuff. I'll need to change that around a bit. All right, but this is done. Let's go check this out. Local copy. Merge this. Let's try it. Oh, Marco, wow. You're spending a lot of money. Thank you for the gifted subs. Yeah, very, very nice of you. Do you think multiple apps, 20 a month versus one app, 100 a month for AI is worth it? I think it all depends on what you're trying to optimize for. You could potentially have like multiple. Oh, man, Magnus, you too. Thank you. Thank you all for the gifted subs. Hey, Nine. Yeah, it's extra nice. Um, yeah, so multiple subs, I think it probably increases friction slightly. It probably also increases your usage because you're subsidizing over the course of many different apps. But it also changes, well, I guess the increased friction is not just like a mechanical thing, account switching or routing, but it's also the like idiosyncrasies of the models that you're using and harnesses. So if you're okay with that, then yeah, it could be worth it for you. I mean, I'd probably just start with, 2 subs or something and see if you like that. Did I get one? No. Yeah. All eligible viewers. Wow. Sure are pushing it. I wonder what that means, eligible viewers. I guess that people who are right now are not subs. Yeah, this is not what I was picturing. So I don't want it to stop, and I don't want... Yeah, let's change some things here. Don't stop the character's movement while transitioning between rooms. And remove the camera limits after leaving the first room. Reinstate them after the transition is done. And what else did I want to do? Oh, I didn't test the final bit of this. I think I closed the game as well. It's a late cheers for Skeletoler's release. Well, thank you very much. Yeah. Some combo of viewer, follower, recently watched. Yeah. Yeah, so reinstating them means that we need to change the room layout. But what I wanted to try is this part. I want to see what happens here. You get to the end and then something's going to happen. I think it's going to transition to another room. No, it didn't. Okay, good. Yeah, so that's fine. So I think just these couple of changes and we'll see how that feels. We will need spawn points. What am I talking about? Yeah, because we need to know where in the new room you should spawn. So I don't know what I was thinking with this. We still need this. Oh, wait, no. Oh, my God. Hold on. Oh, my God. This is so difficult. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, you would be in both rooms at once, but only one set of collision tiles or one tile map layer would affect collision at a time. Yeah, I think gifted subs are a bit weird from a viewer perspective because, like, if Twitch wanted to optimize for happiness, let's say, they'd probably give it to the viewer who is there the most and who's chatting the most, who has never subscribed and is seeing ads. But that also probably cuts into their revenue the most. So they just give it to like random people and it'll never really affect. So yeah, I think it'd be cool to have like a gift subs to the most frequent chatters. But yeah, this is the same reason why Twitch opted everybody into the AI thing, right? Like they're doing what's best for them. I hope this looks better. It's already made some changes here. Let me take a look at this. Current transition disables input, also zeros velocity when Sidekick is moved to the incoming room. Both need to go to satisfy continuous movement. It has a camera helper, there there's no limit. All right, let's just try this myself. It's probably going to spawn a new version of Godot after I already launched this. But yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, removing the limits is weird. And then reinstating them afterward. It's nice that I can still keep jumping. Yeah, camera limits are very unusual here. If it's always unlimited, it might be okay. But yeah, the spawn point thing is messing with me. Do we want custom spawn points? Like maybe you're in each room at all times, but they're just not all visible. Can't you spawn in the other room at the same offset to make the camera not an issue? Yeah, all the rooms would need to be the same shape, and there need to be enough like distance on either side of the camera so the limit doesn't become a problem. The problem is with the same shape. Like this won't feel like a Metroidvania. Because when you come back to this later, it's going to be totally different. Yeah, I am just so torn on this. Yeah, I wonder if we just never put the camera limits back in, how this would look. I think the reason I'm having such a hard time is, like I said, I don't know what I'm even looking for. Like a lot of the times when I'm writing code, it's very easy for me to specify what I want. But this is some visual effect that I don't know how we're supposed to achieve. Yeah, and it respawning us is jarring. So let's say that this was ironed out. Let's say I had the perfect visual effect. Is this convincing? I think that's the most important question. Because I think I'd be super confused if I just saw that happen. I'd be like, I'm in a different area now. And like my character's controlling himself automatically a little bit more. But it's really hard for me to get over how the transition's happening. I'd also be confused. I mean, I think it is. There's almost no way we can probably get through this and not have it be confusing to some extent. If only for the reason that the rest of the game sets you up for like, oh, glitches happen, and I'm supposed to eventually figure out why these glitches are happening. If this were in a game like, I don't know, Stardew Valley, it'd be very different. We'd be able to just be like, oh yeah, the time is just moving forward super fast, or you get to see the day change on the calendar. And you'd be like, well, nothing else in the game did that. I've only ever seen the time move by 1 minute or 15 minutes or whatever the increment is. And I've only ever seen the day move by 1 day. There's no time travel in that game. So if time travel happened, you'd be like, this is extraordinary. If time travel happens in this game, you'd be like, oh, it's just like every other game. There's some weird glitch that's happening and I can just ignore it and it'll eventually make sense. And it's why I think this is the best idea I've had so far, that you just lose control in more and more rooms. Or sorry, you lose control more in each room that you go to. Maybe there is no trigger region. Maybe it's just like in 20 seconds, you will get transitioned to the next game. Maybe there is no explicit trigger region and you always move to the next game in X seconds after your first real input. That way we accommodate AFK players. Well, not eternity. You're gonna rescue him eventually. So yeah, is it worth changing this visual effect? Okay, so don't ever have camera limits in this when playing as Sidekick. And when transitioning between rooms, keep the same player position so that it looks like just the room is changing out from under Sidekick. So you're traveling to the past or the future. It's supposed to indicate that time is passing, so it's just traveling through time, I guess, to the future. But yeah, it's definitely not going to the past. The room on the left edge should not be a wall, like a new room that he's entering, or is it meant to be the same room, just change over time? So yeah, the overall idea here is Sidekick is losing agency, and the way I think about this is the physical. You're losing control. Like, you can't jump all the time. You can't walk all the time. The computer plays it out for you. And mental, like, you're forgetting who you are and where you've been. So everything blurs together. The physical part is easy. We can make you lose control by just saying, like, every half second to, like, randomly give you an input or something, or yeah, for 20% of the time you just don't control your character and it does something for you. The mental part, I don't know how we communicate that, and that's why I'm struggling so much with this. Like, this is where I wanted to blur backgrounds and indicate that you're going to different regions, but there's no actual, like, teleporter between them. So you're just, like, randomly in a new place and you're like, why am I here? Because that's probably how it would feel if you actually were losing your mind in this game. You'd be like, I don't remember getting here. I don't remember why I'm here, or like, this doesn't make sense to me. So maybe that's where I'm struggling. Like, the goal is to confuse the player because Sidekick is confused and we want you to feel that confusion. But my, like, game design brain is telling me confusion bad. Remove confusion. Yeah, maybe that's the problem. Where am I? I don't want to spell it out just yet. I want the player to just feel the confusion. Then later there's going to be some dialogue. Yeah, this. Your player, you'll encounter them and you'll be like, another human. And they'll say, lovely weather we're having, which is just the whole, like, they've lost their mind already. And then players like, wait, that voice, is that you, Sidekick? And then by saying Sidekick, you, like, snap them out of it. So this is another story important thing. Like, what? Where am I? Like, who are you? I say, it's me. Don't you recognize me? And it's how I feel like I just woke up from an endless dream of walking and jumping, walking and jumping. So this indicates that it was a long time for them. It felt like they were in a coma. So yeah, maybe this will work. This is why at the end of all this, we got to play test it. If playtesters are like, oh yeah, that made sense to me once I got through the other game, I think that would be good. Okay, yes. I think this is it. I think this is the effect that I finally want. Oh my God, I think we did it. And now we just need to make the rooms make a little bit more sense. But yeah, that felt pretty good. And we're down to 58%, not too bad. All right, let me try that again. Yeah, so we gotta make these rooms look correct. Yeah, I do not like the camera extents, for example. We're seeing a lot of gray here. That's something we can fix by just making more world. So you get over to here. And now you're just in a new place. And you're like, what? And you'd also be losing more control. Your character would just be jumping for you. And now I have no control. My character's just moving on their own. Yeah, I think this is good. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to give a point to Jesta because I think Jesta kicked this off for me. What happens if you spawn at a collision point? You should just fall through the tile, I think. But we might have a problem there. I think if we had a 3x3 area and you got stuck in the middle, that yeah, you'd just be stuck. And we probably shouldn't allow that. So yeah, I'll probably change that. Make sure Sidekick doesn't get stuck inside of tiles that they collide with. A vertical wall or something. We need to push them inward to the first available spot and then make sure that they have a path to the... Well, we need to push them inward until they can path find to the center of the map, meaning they're totally free, I guess. All right, so you're moving through all of these at the same time, right? So when we go over here, you start, then there is a trigger region here. I think this part's fine. I think having you jump like this is okay. I think the problem is that you can see the rest of the world. And we have two solutions to this. One, we reinstate camera limits. And then we're just very careful about how we render in the new scene. And two is we expand the world. So it looks like there's more. I don't know which one I prefer. Because the problem is it's really hard for me to envision camera limits. Like, here's what the camera limits basically do. So it's kind of like what you see here. We can only see actual screen. We can't have like this showing. So if the player were right here, it would still render like this. And if the player's down here, it still renders like this. And if the player's all the way on the left side of the world, it renders like this. So that's what camera limits do. They stop you from seeing just random blank gray space. Whereas right now, when the player spawns here, we're seeing just a bunch of blank gray space around it. So if we instantiate limits, then cool, it would look like this again. But then as you're transitioning between rooms, it might look weird. I guess if we make all the rooms very tall and all the same shape, it wouldn't be a problem. Yeah, they all have to be the same shape and they have to be tall enough that you don't hit the top of that world. All right, maybe I should just check this in right now and then we'll try to figure out camera limits. Hey, Nightfall. I just want to quickly look through this. Yeah. Keep the outgoing room rendered at 0 opacity. Man. Yeah. Okay. We only used a Gaussian blur here and no motion blur. Sure. Because I guess there's no motion anymore. Yeah. Okay. This is all reasonable enough. So change room transitions as Sidekick. There are no camera limits anymore, and you're technically in two rooms at the same time. This effect is much better than what we had, but we need some kind of camera limiting back in. I'm committing for now before we mess with that. Yeah. All right, so let me think about this. Camera limits are always of the current room, and then when you transition between rooms, we change the limits. But I tried this and something looked weird. Maybe now it looked fine. After or like put camera limits back in based on the current room. When transitioning the collision between rooms, also change the camera limits over to the new room's limits. Yeah, let's try that. And then if this effect is still convincing, then I think all we need to do is world design, which we can save for later. I'm not going to do that now. We'll just clean up the rest of this, which will probably take another like 45 minutes or an hour. Yeah. So we need to make the rooms larger. Make the rooms larger so that you have plenty of space to keep going right. And probably keep the trigger areas. It's better since we don't have to do any AFK accommodation, and it's natural in a platformer to want to keep going right. Maybe you do hit a wall on the right and have to go left again. Yeah, actually, I like that idea. I like this idea. Do you have the camera limits per room, or is it the scene itself? Can you transition Sidekick to the center of the next room always? You can have them per room. You could transition them to the center of the room. I think this concept of like you're in every room at once is kind of how we've implemented this right now. Apply them when a room becomes active. I mean, this as exported room data is kind of stupid. We have camera 2D, like set all limits based on a rectangle. And tile map layer has get camera bounds. That's silly. Instead of exporting a property, use the camera 2D and tile map layer. Namely this and this. I mean, it's already running this and it looks like it's practically done, but yeah, this is a bad implementation. Should be done pretty soon though. I'll try it out anyway. Yes, this is totally fine. This is great. Yeah, I think this is great. I think we just need to make it take longer in between transitions because right now it's like 15 seconds and you're done. And it's just a little jarring that way. So yeah, we should have you like randomly platform for maybe, I don't know, the timing is going to be tough on this. Maybe like 20 seconds. And then in the next room for maybe 20 seconds. And then in the final room for 20 seconds. So this entire sequence would take about a minute. And it would leave you thinking like, what just happened? All right, so this is done. It did so by exporting camera limits. Yeah, I hate that idea. So let's set this to Luna. But yeah, the idea is pretty good. So now we do not need this. Customizing spawn points is no longer needed because everything's working pretty well there. The motion blur is changed. This is something we're doing right now. So it's just these two things. And then, yeah, world design. I think this is done. Start Sidekick in the middle of the room rather than at the beginning of it. Oh, yeah, in the middle of even the very first room. Maybe there's some indication that you came from the left, but can't go back in that direction. This should be dead simple for me to just like outline. Not dead simple for me to make it polished, but to outline should be fine. Place the exported room limit data with bounds derived from the room's tile map layer 2D extension, then keep the existing camera handoff behavior. Yeah, this should be pretty much exactly the same. If it's not, then we're gonna have to revert this. Oh man, this is like, yeah, a total of what, 3 hours or something spent, 4 hours on one visual effect. But I want this game to hit the right way, and I think this will help with that. Then yeah, we still have a ton of work ahead of us. I think I wrote in the stream description that this whole game is probably going to take a month. And when I say this whole game, I mean the Sidekick in space. And it'll probably last for like 30 minutes of gameplay, if I had to guess, thereabouts. Maybe not even that much. But it still feels like the most ambitious game in terms of like the kind of feelings and the variety. Yeah, exactly. In order to code losing your mind, I need to first lose my own mind. All right, so we're going to try this. It should look identical to what it looked like before. There is one problem here, which is that we're seeing gray space at the top. I am not sure why that's happening. But yeah, these transitions look pretty nice. Now we're still able to control the new character, or the character in the final scene for a decent amount of time. I want to cut that out. And now they're just walking into a wall. I know they're behind. Once I gotta shift this way, they're behind me right now. But yeah, there needs to be more room, so not just running into a wall at the end. But yeah, it's feeling pretty good. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, we're only doing it based on the foreground. Is that why? Because the foreground doesn't extend up to the... No, it does. That's weird. That is very weird. Oh, wait, no. The foreground is the walkable area. We want to do it based on the background, I think. Or just based on both. Yeah, I'll just have it change that really fast. So instead of setting the bounds based on just the foreground, see code below, or actually not even see code below, and apply camera limits. Take the, do we have like a rect2 extension for this? Get transform bounds, get random point, clamp point. I think there's something built into rectangle 2 that already says to merge with another one. Is there a union function? There is not. There's expand. Returns this to expand. Oh, no, that's not it. It's true if it encloses. There should be one that's just like get the max. It's probably called max. It's not called max. Oh, come on. Merge. Returns a larger rectangle that contains. Yeah. Merge. Okay. Take the rect2.merge of the background and foreground. Tile map extensions. Get camera bounds. I guess, why am I even writing this out? Why don't I just go do this? This is me being stupid right now. Yeah, let's take this. Room.background. Is this public already? Yes, it is. Okay, so camera bounds equals this dot get camera bounds dot merge with room dot foreground get camera bounds, and then set this here, camera bounds. Okay, there. Now we should not see gray, I hope. Let me just think about that. Yeah. And then we just don't want the background to extend below the tiles because it looks stupid. Oh god, this is so hard to see. It's the bottom two tiles though, I know that, so I can just delete them. But we got to do that for every room. Oh my god. All right, this one's not so hard to see. Oh wait, no, never mind. And then this one. Good. And then while we're doing this, let's go change the player room as well, because it probably looks stupid. No, surprisingly, this one looks fine. Why is this okay? Everything else looked dumb. Man, now everything should look pretty convincing. As long as it fits the camera. It doesn't fit the camera. All right, well, we just make it a little bit taller. Yeah. Yeah, we just got to make it a little bit taller. 2 tiles to be exact. I know we removed 2 tiles just now, but those 2 tiles were inaccessible tiles. And maybe having inaccessible tiles on the ceiling makes more sense than on the floor. Yeah, probably. All right, so where I wrote elongate the room, it's also going to be like make sure each room is 2 tiles taller than they are currently. There can be vertical progression, but all rooms probably need to be the same size so that you can't get stuck in the void somewhere. All right, so fixed camera bounds. We just didn't even have these in before. Yeah. I didn't have camera limits before this. Now they're in and they look good. I also removed some unnecessary tiles from each room. All right, yay. Let's go merge this. Git switch main, git merge that. Donezo. No custom spawn points. So make it larger. I mean, that's this stuff. The important thing we still need to code is this, which is you losing control more frequently. And that they should occasionally move left, I said. So I don't like this idea. Let's delete that. All right, there's a problem here. If we make you lose control 20% of the time, it means that anything that required precision now requires luck as well. Yeah, so we can't make any really difficult jumps. Even this might be too annoying to do. Imagine if you're jumping here and then you jump here and then your character just walks left off the edge. I guess it would make you feel like you're going insane. You'd probably be like, oh, there's got to be a better way to do this. Or maybe you'd learn the timing of it, because it's literally going to be every 2.5 seconds for half a second. So you might realize like, oh, I need to time this such that my character doesn't just walk off the edge. Or what we do is we make it half a second every 3 seconds or something. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's modify the local code here. Want to change Sidekick's autonomous controls so that it isn't exclusive to the third one. Begin autonomous movement. Where is this called? This is in the final room, yeah. In the room sequence. In room 1, autonomous control should automatically be enabled every 3 seconds for 0.5 seconds. In room 2, autonomous control should be automatically be enabled every... How do we make this not annoying? It's got to be for at least a second, but it'd be 1/3 of the time instead of 1/6 of the time. In room 3, Sidekick is fully autonomous. Finally, change it so that the new room's autonomy controls kick in as soon as the transition starts, not once it's completed. That way, as soon as you transition in the final room, you lose control completely. Yeah. Okay, so make room larger. Make sure Sidekick doesn't get stuck in the walls. We should start Sidekick in the middle of the very first room rather than at the beginning of it. Yeah, this is part of the change of room layout. Maybe an enemy shoots you and you die. It blurs before it can even fade out. You respawn somewhere else. So I guess that is something a little unusual about this. When you're playing a Sidekick, you don't even encounter enemies or dangers. Maybe there are enemies on platforms that are out of reach. That's probably what we should do. Where is this? This is already done. Make the final room pretty long. Yeah, we can do that beforehand. Add some traps. Okay, so add enemies or traps that are totally inaccessible to you, such that they pose no danger. I just don't want the dungeon to feel empty. Add enemies or traps or chests. Yeah, same thing with chests. There should probably be one on a high up platform. Same thing with doors or portals. They should be visible but inaccessible. Problem reporter. Oh, is this the Godot crashing thing? Did that finally kick in? Oops, that's pretty nice. Okay, what else? What else? What else? What else? Get stuck. Enemy shoots you and you die, so we're just deleting this. Consider that sidekicks are probably just hard cut to other positions within the scene that they're in. This effect should maybe happen once in the first room. Yeah, this was another one of those like you're losing your mind kinds of things. Imagine, I don't have a screenshot still, do I? No. Oh man. All right. Well, anyway, imagine, let's just look at Super Mario Bros. 1. That you jump up onto this platform and your character's like over here all of a sudden. It'd be a little bit glitchy, but I don't think it would communicate the right thing. So I think we just delete this idea. It's not incompatible with what we already did. But yeah, I don't think it helps. Change where the trigger regions are, so the middle, and at the first sign of you losing your agency, add a question mark above your head when it happens. It'd have to be clear to you that you didn't control your character. Could do this after a room transition. Sidekick would presumably be confused, but it's not a point in time. Yeah, that's not how this works. For the player in front of their computer, over the course of 2 seconds, they see that they were in a dungeon and now they're in the desert. So to you, 2 seconds have passed. To Sidekick, like an hour might have passed. So when they're finally lucid again, yeah, they might be confused, but it would seem to the player like an event just happened. But the inability to control your character might be confusing to them. Then again, they'd have to have some awareness about it. I don't think we should do this. I don't think it makes sense. Yeah. All right, so we have some pretty straightforward stuff left to do. I think this will mark the rest of today. We'll try to get this stuff done. But then, yeah, enemies, treasure chests, whatever else. Maybe I'll work on some of this off stream. Yeah. Oh, man. Game dev, am I right? Yeah, that's crazy. And then what else is on this list? So this is, I'm fine with this now. This, I don't know where we put this. Do I have like AI disclosures somewhere? Disclosures. I'll just add a command for that. Automate AI disclosures for Skeleseller and Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. Where, oh, here's the Skeleseller one. And let's delete the heading and the tab. And Stuck in a Broken Tutorial is this one. Copy. I don't know if that's ever going to matter. Let's just make sure those links work. Yeah. Okay. Thought about the time progression. Think it's asking too much. Start planning a devlog. Maybe just one shot the whole thing to show off the game. How many of you like devlogs? Like, I wonder what I would do for this. All right, let's try this out before I forget that I've even worked on this. I expect this to work exactly like I planned, and I don't know if the plan is good. So if I just stand here, if I don't have my hands on the controller at all, it's going to move for 1 second every so often, or half a second, whatever I said. I think half a second. And it's always moving to the right. I think that's kind of a problem. Maybe it's not a problem. So let's say I'm trying to control this. I'm moving over here. It's going to override me every once in a while. But if I'm already moving to the right, oh, weird. If you're in the air when that happens. Yeah, it just like cuts off your jump completely. Yeah, I think it's got to randomize the action. Otherwise, you might not even notice it. So now it happens for an entire second, which still just means it's going to start moving to the right and never jump for you. And now it's completely disabled. Yeah. Okay, so I think we just need to change how exactly it's autonomous. Now that we have shorter bursts of autonomy, I want the mechanics of autonomous control to be changed. It should randomly pick a valid action given the current state of Sidekick. Idle, move left, move right, or jump. And maybe we have it rarely pick and the jumps can be in a direction. The jumps would probably would probably like retain the current movement direction so that they're directional jumps. Yeah, it can then carry, it can keep performing that same action for some amount of time. How often does it try to find a new action right now? It's got hard-coded jump intervals and like an initial walk. For some... How long should this happen for? I'm still trying to figure out. Like, let's say it starts moving. Maybe just randomly picks a time between 0.5 seconds and like 1.5 seconds. Yeah. When idling or moving, should continue performing that action for 1.5 to for 0.5 to 1.5 seconds. We're picking a new action. Jumping can happen during the movement though. Okay, hopefully that's clear enough that this isn't going to cause a problem. Does Steam have a similar AI disclosure? Yeah, it's built right into the page. That's my Steam page was just rejected this morning for having an external link in the AI disclosure. We probably need to change the Skeleseller page at some point. I guess I'll write that down. You're not supposed to have external links in your AI disclosure. I should change it to, well, actually, I really shouldn't do anything. I don't want people thinking I was messing with the page. And if Valve doesn't care, then yeah. Because there's extra details in that I think are important. What are these notifications? Oh, okay. How are we doing over here? 56%. So yeah, devlog. I want to think about this for a little bit. What would I talk about? Because my gut feeling says like show all of the cool stuff about the game. It's not a trailer, it's a devlog. I should probably talk about the challenges, maybe what I have planned, etc. I don't know though. I don't know how many people care about devlogs, and I think the devlogs that catch on are people spreading them on social media, and they've typically got something like visually interesting. Yeah, I'm torn. If you just search YouTube right now for video game devlog, like what are the top ones that we have here? Like this is an interesting thumbnail. Yeah, same thing. Gotta have interesting thumbnails. They've got some like aesthetic intro here, top-down view of their keyboard and mouse. Hmm. The problem with indie game devlogs on YouTube, he's got more views than most devlogs get. Oh man. Yeah, I think the ones that seem to get views are ones that have some like visually interesting thumbnail. The horror game ones seem to get views too. Yeah, like this 8,000 views. I mean, 8,000 isn't bad, but it's not like I should go make a video kind of view count. Maybe I should just be looking at shorts or something. Hmm. I don't know. My general take is that a lot of this is a numbers game, and part of it is knowing what kind of content to make as well. But like you could be making content that is generally good and it might just not catch on, or you might not put it in the right spots. It might not be on the right platform. It's like I had much more luck on TikTok than I had on YouTube Shorts. when I was making Skeleseller content. And it makes me think, like, is a devlog worth it? Should I just be showcasing like tiny features of the game? Probably. Then funneling that to a larger YouTube video, but then you're a YouTuber, not a game developer. Yeah. I think maybe I do just focus on the short form stuff. Maybe I have like a brief overview of the game somewhere. Instead of a devlog, maybe just do some short form content. I should have a Steam page before I do this. Yeah. 12 noon on Thursday release and popped off. I don't usually think that's like a reproducible pattern that you can follow, though. I think it's like that person probably just made good content. I get the whole time it with your target audience's breaks or work schedule or relaxation schedule or something, and there's probably some merit to that. But if everyone's doing it, then there's just a lot more eyes vying for the same content. Or sorry, a lot more content that the same eyes are vying for. Best of both worlds and maybe a little less work. Yeah, but in order to chop up a longer video into a bunch of short videos, you need interesting parts in any like 1 minute chunk of that video. And I think the problem is that a lot of what I want to set up probably needs some context here. Like, I don't think the game is super visually appealing. I think the hook is interesting. I gotta make a trailer eventually anyway. But yeah, I think I'm gonna write this down here. Don't I already have something about this for, yeah, this. I don't think I want to make a devlog. I should probably just steer toward short form content and see what works. And I should make an autonomous TikTok. Okay, we are done with this. So let's go take a look at how this feels. All right, so, yeah, so if I just stand here, if I do nothing, it moved right, it moved right again, moves left, it jumped. Yeah, so if I'm trying to move this thing, it might just like cut me off. Yeah, it just did. And here it stopped my jump from working. So this is fighting me, but it's not fighting me in such a frustrating amount that like I can't just come over here and make the jump anyway. And once you get to here, there's no way to really mess this up. Like even if the character moves right for you here. Yeah. Now though, it's going to be a third of the time that it's going to pick an action for me. So if I'm trying to jump, it just moved left for me. Now I move left again. So it just moved me off the platform. Now it's stopped. It double jumped for me there. Okay. That was actually what I wanted. Okay. Yeah. I think it's pretty good. I think this is pretty good. Yeah. I'm not going to look through this too much. It's only for this one section of the game. And it felt fine. One thing I will do, though, is auto-format the code. Okay, so change autonomy controls. You now lose control in bursts based on how far you've progressed as Sidekick. Before this, you only lost control in the third room. Hey, Lepchus, how goes it? All right. So this is done. Left juice. And a nice long weekend with no tech, and now it's back to the old grind. What'd you do on your no tech weekend? Yeah, there's Adam Wave now. Probably advertise that emote a little bit more. Yeah, Quickie Joe made that. All right, so make sure Sidekick doesn't get stuck inside of tiles that they can collide with. I don't think this is even possible right now, but I kind of want to try and see what happens if we made it happen no matter what. So like, let's say we took the foreground and took one of these tiles and just drew a giant rectangle of that tile. You'd be unable to move, right? Dog and cat sitting, did a lot of reading, enjoyed good foods. Oh, nice. Yeah. Adam Dash, Adam Wave Dash, Adam Shield, Adam Grab. You should be able to play Smash entirely with emotes. Why is this not working? My controller's off. What is happening right now? Hello, game? What is happening? Did this have some failure? Yeah, error opening gamepad index 1. Couldn't load stick calibration. It's not stick in a broken tutorial. All right, so we're going to go transition between... I was waiting for this thing to make me lose control. There it is. We're going to transition between rooms and be stuck in a block. Yeah. You can actually, you can... No, you can't jump. Yeah, you're just stuck here. So I wanted to push you inward toward the bounds of the room until you can move again. The game took control. Angry or left juice. Okay, so in the backtracking platformer as Sidekick, when you transition between rooms, it's possible that you could get stuck in the scene geometry. We should ensure that we should fix that if it happens by nudging the player out of any collidable regions, any collision regions. I've got code for this somewhere. In the top-down shooter, D top-down. Here we go. CD into that. And here somewhere we have something about collision. Where is it? Or maybe it's about summons. Get point within range. Splitting monster? I don't even think that works. But summoner probably has it. Summoner monster. All right, so where's the summon cooldown? If it's here, summon monster. This, summon monster. Great. Get closest walkable position. But this uses navigation server. We don't have that. And we got to make sure the walkable position is inside the background. They're still within the background. Within the bounds of the foreground. Yeah. Tile map layer. I modified backtracking room 2 to form a test bed for this. But I don't want to keep those changes. Poor Sidekick. Poor Sidekick. Hey, Matt. Ton of pre-prepared. Cucumber and radish sandwich stuff. That'll keep me content for a bit. Ooh, nice. Man, you know what I love? Pickled vegetables. They're so good. I think pickled onions are the best, but pickled peppers are pretty close behind. So tasty. All right, make the rooms larger so you have plenty of space. So this is the only thing we definitely have to do here. Pickled red onions are my #1 condiment. Yeah. Yeah, pretty good. All right, I should probably take a break because I already muted an ad for a second. So I'll be back in a little bit. We'll clean this up and then we will fix up the rooms a little bit, and I'd be pretty happy with how the day went. I'm already pretty happy with how the day's been going. But for now, is it jump time? It's jump time. Haha, losers. All of you. I won the game. All right, close the game. You can join mid-game? Yeah, you can join mid-game. Usually after the first, like, I think 40 seconds or so, the screen will have scrolled up enough to where it wouldn't really matter. All right, surprisingly, this is still running. Incoming room becomes solid. Newly activated tiles can surround the character. Curvy searches outward in 1 pixel rings and tests the character's real collision shape against only the incoming foreground and shrinks the legal search area by the shape's extent. So the whole character remains inside the tile map bounds. I think this is stupid. I think we should probably just have made a nav region and then use the existing function we have. Nudge character out of foreground. Yeah, this is probably really slow. Like, at the very least, binary search the nudging, right? Well, let's try it. What happened? Where's my scene change? It deleted it. Oh, man. After that, I'll restore the scene and rerun the clean baseline. There is no problem with the clean baseline. I guess this isn't really a problem in the real game either, and that most nudging needs to be like 32 pixels. Not even 32 pixels, there's 16 pixel tiles, right? So what's probably going to happen if we look at this code, you're going to get a collision shape, get the character bounds, and get this position. Physics shape query parameters, interesting. Space state. So consider their starting position. Does this bail out? What does this do? Closest position. I see. Okay, so it'll only set that. And we break out of it in this case. Okay. Yeah, I'll wait for this to finish. Like I said, I think this is overkill. I think if we just make a navigation region that we could have it compute the navigation region and then just find the next available position using the code we already have over here. Where did that code go? Yeah, this. This is returns navigation mesh surface point closest to the provided 2 point. Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't really think this is ever going to be a problem. Did it ever restore this? It did, yeah. I wanna remove this. There is no removing it. Oh, that's fun. Okay, what happened? Did I just crash this? Certainly looks that way. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't think it's going to do anything now. All right, force quit. So we want to select this and draw a giant rectangle and see what happens. Yeah, it is an empty scene. I mean, it did say it would do that. And I did say this was only for testing. And oh my God. There. All right, so we're going to get stuck in a block. Yeah, and it pushed us up to the top of it. And it seemed fast enough. Like I said, this code should pretty much never matter. Yeah, now we're stuck over here, though. I can't double jump up there. Yeah, no, I can't. Yeah, okay. Is it possible to even make it to the final room anymore? I don't know where the transition region is. But I think if we go over here, yeah, now we can. Yep, there we go. Okay, well, it's working. Hey Kyle, how am I keeping today? It's going pretty well. Let me show you what I've done so far. I'm gonna just revert this. So The biggest thing I wanted to get done with today, at least on stream, was communicating this broken section with Sidekick over here. So the way this works is this is the start of you losing control. So if I don't touch my controller at all, every 3 seconds for half a second, it's going to do something. So like if I just hold left the entire time, it's going to override me every once in a while. And yeah, it jumped there. It'll eventually move right. So like as if you're playing this, you're gonna be trying to move right and jump, and it's just like jump to the left for me. So you'd be like, all right, that's a little bit weird. I don't know what's going on here exactly. And you're gonna eventually make it over to here. And now this transition effect of like, okay, what? I'm in a new room. And now we lose control for even longer. So now it's 1 second every 3 seconds. So if I try to make it to this platform, for example, well, I was able to do that. And yeah, here I tried moving to the left, but it cut me off and moved right. So like, yeah, you're like, something strange is going on. And then you make it to the final room again. Well, trying to make it to the final room and it's cutting me off. Yep. And then it transitions again. And now you have no control over the character. So this is how I wanted to communicate that like, hey, you are not in control anymore. You were pretty much just watching stuff happen. And then the screen just gets blurrier and blurrier and you transition to the next game. So I'm pretty happy with how all this has gone. Yeah. This code kind of sucks. I don't like this code. AI made it, and it's just for one scenario. Prevent the player from getting stuck in any scene geometry. What we probably should have done is make a navigation region 2D and called ccref equals navigation server 2D this on it. However, this code probably never actually matters since you could, yeah. Never really matters since we don't have large blocks of tiles for you to get stuck in. Well, not don't, just shouldn't. Yeah. We don't right now, but that might not be true in the future. And then there's a Boolean here for no reason whatsoever. Let's make that void. Return false. Return false. Okay, you know what? Let's keep that, I guess. We don't use the return value here. That's okay. Yeah, the rest of this is fine, I think. Transition was very nice. I'm guessing you're using tile maps? Yeah. Yeah, I'm using tile maps. Although the transitions are kind of interesting. The way that they work is kind of just like how you do this in like a video editor here. So let's say we turn this off and this off. You would just change the opacity of one of these and show a different one. And because they're laid on top of each other, it's a pretty nice effect. So yeah, that's how we do that. And then we add a blur on top of it. Add a large block so the player gets stuck in. Hey, Padana. Will you take over the computer too? That would be kind of funny, but I think it'd give off the wrong idea. Also, one of the other things to consider, I know there's a cap on your message, but one of the other things to consider is different platforms you release on. Like, let's say this releases on the Nintendo Switch. Like, what you need to do to make it look like we're taking over your computer will be very different from on a different platform. I'm excited to see this fully styled. Yeah. Yeah. This is going to look and feel very different in even just a week. So prevent Sidekick from getting stuck. This is safety code that hopefully never actually isn't even needed. Upload all data, just small kaboom. Yeah, just vibrate the controllers like crazy. All right, so now we are on this task. Make the rooms larger so you have plenty of space to keep going right. Keep the trigger areas, well, just keep the idea of trigger areas. They can move. Better since we don't have to do any AFK accommodation. Maybe hit a wall on the right and have to go left again. Okay, so here's what I want for room 1. I want there to be a slightly longer section to the left over here. So let's go do that. So we're going to take this wall and just move it over here. And draw this in and this in. And I guess copy this sucky looking ground over here and put it over here. Yeah, it looks like trash, but I don't really care yet. We're only making the general shapes look correct for right now. And then we take the background and we draw that in. Except for that covers everything, doesn't it? All right, so now here's our room so far. So oh, wait, we don't have a spawn location. Okay, well, I would like to keep the spawn location where it was. So backtracking, platformer. Oh, wait, no, the character is probably what controls that, right? Yeah, Sidekick is right there to begin with. So this should be fine. So the room is slightly longer now. You still start there. You might try going to the left, in which case you'd see nothing. Didn't I say that we want to make it look like there's... Oh, I guess we just make some platforms for now. Yeah, we'll put a platform up here. You won't be able to reach it. In fact, maybe we just make it look like there was a region over here for you to have come from. So yeah, I'll put some more background over here. And we will delete... Oh, no, but then the camera bounds will go over here too, right? So you'll see a bunch of gray space. So I would need to do this sooner. You need to not get over there, though. How would you do that? I guess we draw this over... You know what? Let's just start this. It's kind of hard to do without actually seeing the room. Because I don't know how much is visible at any given time. I need a new controller. Okay, so if we got you over to like here, I got to turn off the autonomous control. It's also annoying. Autonomous. All right, just set all these to 0. Yeah, so as soon as we... Oops. I didn't mean to start from here. I meant to start from Godot so I can change it on the fly. There we go. Delete top 4 or 5 wall tiles and only have background. The bounds stay the same. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of doing. At least I think we're talking about the same thing here. We go to change games. All right, so you start right here. I want this to look like a platform off to the left, so you should only be able to move to maybe like this region. So there should be a wall 4 tiles to the left. I think. I'm not even certain this is going to really give the effect that I want. All right, so if I just start drawing these in, we should see them in real time here. Yeah, nice. Okay, so let's say we put it there. Does that stop you from seeing off the side of the screen? Yes, but you could jump over this, can't you? Yeah. So you just need to make it tall enough so you can't. Maybe that's good. Yeah. Now to make it not look like you're supposed to be able to get over there, let's put something like this. And then I want it to look like you could make it over to the side. There we go. Then probably the same thing here. Just delete this. So it looks like you would have been able to get there. No, you know what? We probably should change this a bit, right? Maybe like that. There. That's pretty good. So that's all fake. You can't get over there. So you would go to the right. Maybe you'd try doing this jump. It's very obviously impossible. So you go to the right. You eventually make it to this. You see more. Yeah, that's perfect. That's definitely perfect. Okay, great. So room 1, as far as I'm concerned, is done. Room 2, you are going to be where the trigger area was. So you'll always spawn in the same place, which is roughly, well, let's not do a roughly. Let's just go find out exactly where it is. Okay, so we're going to move very slowly, very carefully over to here, and then stop moving as soon as we hit the trigger area. There we go. So you land between these two platforms, and if we put a little marker there so we can figure that out exactly. Pick this and put it like right above. Yeah, good. So you would hit this block. So that's the leftmost edge, and the rightmost edge is probably a couple tiles to the right. And now I want to stop you from going too far to the right and have you go toward the left now instead. So we're going to put the exit area over here. Now there is no world over here. We probably eventually have some indication that you'd get like a high jump or something. We put some treasure chests up here. So yeah, we can delete this. There's no indication that you shouldn't go over here, though. We can put another wall, I guess. What is going on? There we go. I think you can make that jump, though, right? Yes. Well, there's nothing over to the side, so maybe that alone is enough to convince you that, like, there's no reason to come over here. Or maybe we just elevate this a little bit more and make it an impossible jump. You can still make that. You might be able to make this. Yes, you can. Okay, so one more and it should be impossible now. Yeah, I don't think you can make that. Now this one, I don't mind if the player tries, because if they do get over there, they can make it back. And then we can put a platform up here. Okay, great. Now over to the side, you're able to just walk there. How do we want to do this? I think we want to make more room off to the left. So that when you hit this transition region, it doesn't look like it's the end of the room. Yeah, so let's put this over here and copy all of this. I think I messed that up. Yeah, that's what I meant to do. All right, the rest of that doesn't matter. And then get that little piece there and then the background. Good. And then we just put some more platforms over here to make it look like you could have gotten there, but you cannot. And then the final room. So the final room, you're going to always spawn like 7 tiles to the right. So you're going to spawn over here. And there's really nothing in this room. I mean, we can just put some random platforms. It doesn't matter. Yeah, like one here and one here. Here. There. Okay, let's go try that. What am I doing? Change games. Okay. Yeah, this is where I want the player to feel like they're fighting against the movement of the character. Oh, the extents changed. Oh, that's a problem. And the character's trying to move left. Okay. We should probably just kind of duplicate this room and have it go to the right as far as it goes to the left. Yeah, so I kind of want to just copy the entire thing. Let's take a decent chunk of it at least. Let's take like that. And let's paste this over here. There. And hopefully it's just not obvious that I copy pasted it, but we can always change that too at some point. And then we paint this in. And then we need a wall over here. Cool. Well, I took kind of a weird tile from that. I want to take this tile. All right, now we should be good. Oh, and then let's put the have it fight you thing. Close, quit. What is that tile doing? What is this? Oh, did I draw on the wrong layer? No, it was... No, wait, what? I don't know what I did. I'm just going to delete that. Yeah. Okay, now we make it fight you again. So just Control Z out of this. Good. Let's go test it. All right, so here you are. Actually, when you enter this game, there's some like weird thing happening. Yeah, it's shifting the camera. Okay, that we got to stop. Let me write that down. When you first enter the game, the camera shifts to where the player is. It should run with camera 2D extensions, position without smoothing. Cool. All right, let's go back to the game though. So ignoring that, we're in the game. It is fighting us a little bit. So 1/6 of the time, we cannot control our character. So all I'm doing is trying to move right and jump, and it's occasionally moving left for me and stopping me midair. But yeah, if I make it over to here, I'd be like, whoa, okay, what's going on? And I'd probably try making this jump, and I'd probably realize the loss of control in trying to do this. It's actually kind of smart to have put that there. Because yeah, you eventually get frustrated and just be like, all right, I guess I'm going left. So you start going left. And the map transitions again. And now we have no control. I'm doing nothing now. Yeah, I like that. All right. Yeah. Yeah. This is a lot of work. Do we have any other things listed here? Keep the idea of trigger areas. That's fine. Elongate the second room. Place you in the middle. We did that. Camera limits are set. That's fine. Means players can go to the left, which you need to handle. We did that. Each room is 2 tiles taller than they currently are. We did not do that. Yeah. So this is the only thing we haven't done here yet. And it's maybe not worth doing, but it's also not that hard to do. So we just take this and draw it 2 more tiles at the top, right? There we go. And then same thing with the foreground. Just take 2 more tiles. Then we got to do that 2 more times. Meant to be a game with a broken tutorial. Is it broken in a way that the real player character didn't spawn and Sidekick is taking its place, thus buggy, confused, wonky controls? So yeah, this is meant to be a game with a broken tutorial. I guess Sidekick would be trying to experience that tutorial as well. Maybe we should put some text in the levels. Add a tutorial, like an obvious tutorial. Sidekick would be experiencing the tutorial 2. Maybe you see the text off screen, like press like B to jump, indicating that you've already learned that. Should you interact with the real characters of that game? I'm not totally sure what you mean by that. Like there will be enemies and stuff, but for Sidekick, I don't want there to be any danger because having you die, I think, would be even more confusing here, especially because you don't get an attack. But yeah, I'm not certain how this is going to play out. I didn't do this one already, right? Oh, this is the foreground. What I'm thinking is Sidekick is not meant to be a part of the game, but somehow found himself in it. The game was designed for someone else. You encounter that someone else. Oh, yeah, Sidekick is not designed for this game, but this is kind of the undercurrent of the entire game here is that the characters, what am I doing? The characters that the game is meant for are somewhere in the world, but they're not in that world. So you will eventually find the right characters for that world, and we just haven't made enough of the game for that to play out yet. So there's no ceiling on these worlds, right? Yeah, I think I need a ceiling on these. Or do I? Maybe we extend this even farther so as you jump, you realize that there's more, you can go upward. Okay, yeah, let's do that. So I'll put another 3 tiles up here. There. And this room, it's very unlikely your character would ever jump correctly to be able to get up there. But if they do, I guess we should expand this one too, huh? Yeah, very unlikely. Okay. And then the only thing remaining was this. This one has a ceiling, and I just don't think the ceiling is high enough. So we got to move that up by 2. Well, that we can delete. And then the background up by 2. All right, there we go. You can see the ceiling up there. Is that a problem? I don't think so. Oh, it causes the whole screen to shift. That is a little bit strange. I actually think I want this sequence to last even longer than it currently does. It's like 10 seconds of the screen going blurry. I think it should be even more. In room 3, I want the game to remain blurry for 5 more seconds before transitioning. That full blurriness. All right, so all of this was done except that I'm not totally sure how I feel about this room having a ceiling. So let's just cut out the ceiling. And as a result, you can't even make it over here, so that doesn't matter. And as a result, let's add in just a tiny bit more of the background tiles. Just maybe 2 more. I don't even know if that's necessary. Like, you might be able to see that, you might not. So now as you jump over here, it should scroll the camera a little bit, right? Yeah. Maybe we should put more platforms above you. This is so cool. I know nothing looks sensible yet in terms of the background. Oh, I think I want that to be farther over. Yeah, I think I want that to be farther over. In which case we need to extend even the third room. Because, yeah, that hits just a little bit too soon. Put this like there. Yeah. Okay. Enlarge each room. They also have the character going in different directions. All right. Yeah, I am feeling pretty good. Let's fill out the journal. Worked on the Sidekick section of the Metroidvania game. Finally got the right feeling for them losing control. Yeah. Take a look at something really fast. No, okay. Just checking. All right. So this is done. I missed the right feeling. Yeah, it was a long process. I think it at least ended up in a pretty good spot. And I'll probably show it off eventually again anyway. And if not, I mean, you could always see it in the game. It's never too late completely. And there's always the VOD. Let me see. So add enemies, add treasure chests, add an obvious tutorial, add new rooms and portals. We should probably spend at least a little bit of time actually getting the tile set to look good. And maybe adding in terrain or something. Spend a bit of time making the tile sets usable by a human. I don't want each world to look like placeholder art when we're using the real art already. Imagine there's a transition zone where you're jumping down onto something friendly, a cloud or something soft, and then when it transitions to the next thing, you're falling into the mouth of a monster. Keep the player on their toes. So these transitions are just for Sidekick, and I didn't want Sidekick to die in this game. Yeah, when player encounters this, player is actually not losing their mind. So they will just go through what looks like a normal Metroidvania game that happens to be in the same graphics that you saw earlier. It's actually also pretty important, I guess, that you see these same graphics. Like, ideally, you recognize the room from earlier. But yeah, we got to use as much of this art style as we can, I guess. But yeah, when you come back as player, you'll be able to... Oh, actually, I didn't even think about this. Because it's the same room, you're able to do this. And then move off the screen. Because you have wall sliding and wall jumping. I think air shooting would really help. I also think not being able to double jump is kind of interesting when you have wall jumping. And when wall jumping is this easy to perform. Yeah. I don't want. Well, so part of this, what I'm trying to think about with all of this is like, all right, there's a direction I'm going with for the game, and it's mostly casual. It's family friendly. It's pretty much like Skelliseller in that regard. And in Skelliseller, okay, sure, you get poisoned and you die in the very first minute of the game, but it's played out in a cutesy way. It's not too jarring. I don't want this to seem like, man, it's really ominous that these games are essentially torturing the players. Like, imagine if you were stuck in a game where you didn't know what was going on and you're dying like over and over and over and over again. I think it just sends a really bad message. Yeah, I just need a being up here. I need a hi-ya sound. Yeah, the wall jumping thing is pretty cool though. I like that a lot. In Super Metroid, wall jumping wasn't like the most straightforward technique. Like, sure, if you played the game a lot, you know how to do it, but it wasn't just like grab the wall and press the jump button. Your character not B would be kind of fun. It wouldn't seem like it's broken or even a Smash reference. There'd need to be something more obvious, I think. Up arrow and B. Yeah, but then if you're playing with only a controller, you wouldn't be able to do it. I guess it could always be an Easter egg. Is it waiting for an extra frame at the end of the animation? It might not be. I don't think I like that. I haven't seen Stay Tuned. Character's got a giant head. Yeah. Which means once it looks like player, they'll still have a giant head. And then they'll go into space. God, this is going to be a great game. I look forward to seeing the next playtesters, which will be in like November. We have a lot of time. All right, well, it's been a pretty solid day. I'm going to get going. I'm going to do some work off stream. Let's go find someone to raid. Let's see if anyone's streaming that I never get to raid because I always end later in the day. Nope. Like, Cakes has been raiding me a lot, and I want to raid him back, but I don't think he streams on Tuesdays or something. All right, well, let's raid AJ. All right, I forgot about the Adam Walk thing. Hey, Wix. All right, well, thank you all for being here. I'll be back tomorrow. It might not be a full day tomorrow. I haven't been feeling streaming as much lately, and I've kind of just want to make progress on the game. So I'll see how I feel. But yeah, I'll definitely stream at least in the morning. That's the plan for now. So I hope you all have a good rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow. Take care.